Welcome back to Irreverent Business Podcast, the podcast where we take things seriously sometimes when we need to, and then other times we don't, because business is too serious pretty much all the time. So today, however, we are going to be hitting some really hot topics that are really misunderstood with someone that actually understands them. Kenzie Womack, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Kenzie Womack is a social media manager, but you are more than a social media manager. I even think it's insulting to call you a social media strategist because all of those terms have been overused
I agree.
so much. I'm going to make up a new title for you. You are a social media practitioner.
Okay.
Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
Do you hate
Maybe
that?
that's what I should reuse. I agree. I think I don't even like to call myself manager or even strategist because it is such a buzzword.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
like
like
when
it.
realtors start calling themselves real estate consultants. Like every realtor calls themselves that. So before we get into that, I have to ask you what your irreverent business hot take is. And as with every guest in every episode, you're going to give me one statement, and I have to 100% agree with you or 100% disagree with you. And then you have to explain why you hold whatever view it is that you hold, and I'll explain why I agree or disagree with you. So, Kenzie Womack, social media practitioner, what is your irreverent business hot take?
Gosh, I feel like one of them you might be in the middle of.
But I will only say 100% yes or 100% no. So
I'm
that
going to
might be
say
a good one to
vanity
start with.
numbers. I'm going to say vanity numbers on social media.
What does that mean?
I think business owners and most people are too caught up in vanity numbers.
You got to define what are vanity
So
numbers?
I think a vanity number is follow count. I don't care about the follow count. Views are great. Views are great. But I think that's also vanity. I think I like conversion. So I want to see are we getting
Okay.
link clicks
Now
to a
you just
website?
baited me with that one.
I know. You're welcome.
You just baited me with that. I have to 100% agree with you on that one because at the end of the day, we live in a capitalistic society here, and businesses are about making money. And I couldn't agree with you more on that one. And as someone who, like, we really specialize in technical marketing, right? We don't
Right.
specialize in what you specialize. We specialize in technical marketing, which is all the behind the scenes conversion tracking and analytics and data collection and stuff. But here's my pushback on yours. You have had a lot of success with generating followers and generating views, and you have even very publicly shared, I have a client that's gone viral and just hit 10 million views in a month. But you're telling me the vanity metrics don't
People get
matter.
caught up in it. So what I mean is I have people all the time. They're like, I want to go viral. Like, I want 10,000 views on this. I want this to get viral. Some people don't need to go viral for their business. Most people don't actually. It's great. I love it. I think it's fun. I It's always a fun time. But with it, I think people get so caught up. I know I'm converting though. Like my videos, I know are bringing traffic in. I've had one client who's going viral and is booking more clients than she has in the last 6 months. So to me,
That's what
it's
matters.
that also people buy fake views and fake stuff and engagement. And we're going to get into that because there's a lot of people
You beat me to it.
that are social media managers. And that's
Yeah,
why I
yeah,
hate
yeah.
that word, is because they want to be like, oh, look, we're going viral. And they are in a whole different country. And it's doesn't matter. So we'll get into that one because
There's so many ways we
there
can take
is.
this. So for those of
I
you
know.
that are watching this, and you can obviously tell that Kenzie and I know each other, we happen to live in the same town, which is what's really fun about this, is that you and I both work nationally, and we live in this little podunk town here in Western Oregon, which is super fun because we get to have a lot of conversations about what does it look like to do marketing and to do just running businesses and you and your husband run a very successful gym, Northwest Fit. And so that's one of the things I appreciate about you is that this is not just someone who's like, hey, I watched a bunch of YouTube videos on social media and I'm going to be a social media manager now. You like have not only done this for other people, you guys have done this for yourselves. And so when I first met you, gosh, it's been a while. It's got to be close to 10 years ago, probably the first time.
Our kids went to
Is that true? That's
preschool together.
crazy. Okay. When we first met, you had already kind of reached, and I'm going to ask you definitions, but I'm going to guess this one. You kind of reached micro influencer status, right? 20 something thousand followers on Instagram. Is that a fair title? I don't know what to call that. Okay. And you had done a lot of work already. You were starting to get some outreach from brands that have you rep stuff. And I remember watching that going like, that's really interesting. I'm really curious about that. What really like I don't know how else to say it. What really sold me on what you did is when you took your husband Nolan, who owns a gym, and got him to 100,000
He
followers.
did that
I
on
think is
his
it?
own.
Yeah, but you can't
I can't
pretend
take
like
the
you weren't
credit for him.
involved.
He did a post every single day.
I know he did, but I know for a fact
Here
you were
cheering
behind
him
some of the
on, but
strategy on that.
he you know why he really did that? Was
Why did he do that?
to prove because so backstory. When we moved down here, I didn't want to be viewed as somebody that had a large following because a lot of people view you different. So I actually hid my social media for a few years, about 3 years, 2 years. And then I brought it back to life because I do enjoy making content. Like that was a big piece. I did want to pivot how I created content. So I didn't want to do motherhood as much. I wanted lifestyle, cooking, like really filling in my content pillars with my life. And so I got in my head really good though, because during this time, 2018, 2019, is when a lot of creators learned that you can buy everything fake. And so I was, I'm pitching and I'm working with Target, Fred Meyer's. There's so many brands.
I think you had
And
didn't you have didn't wasn't Mattel or somebody like
uh-huh. I worked with
involved at
like
one
there
point?
was
Yeah.
so many brands that I'm working with and I'm pitching and my stuff's all organic. Like my views, my comments, my likes, my shares, my follows. But here's all these other creators who have faked it because they're going to try and make it and they're getting paid 2, 3 times more than me. And I'm a great negotiator. Like I can negotiate really well. But like when brands see numbers, and this is what I mean by vanity is I will do a deep dive. Like I will go look at the follows, like, and that's kind of why I switched to this side of work because I've done that. So for me, it's really fascinating to like, I'm really competitive if you didn't know, and I love a good fight and to like go compete. And so seeing it, but there was so many people like creators that like reach out to brands as even now and all of their stuff is fake. But it was really hard in my head about 2019 to want to create content because I wasn't willing to fake it. I didn't want to buy all the fake views. So he actually jumped in and was like, it doesn't matter. The quality of your video doesn't matter. The quality of like all of this doesn't matter. And I'm going to show you because I'm like, your lighting is terrible. And like 30% of his videos, I'm like, I can't stand it. But everything
He's
they
in a
put out,
gym.
but it was
It's
dark.
pretty much a glorified warehouse.
He was using the front camera of his phone, which is like, and for me, like, I'm so used to creating content like that I would present to a brand because I hate doing any revisions. Like it was, I didn't want to do revisions. So I did a lot of work to make sure everything was polished. And he's like, it doesn't matter. I'm like, it does matter though. And so that's actually why
So
he
he wanted to prove you wrong. Is that what he was doing?
pretty much.
Man, what a guy. It helps that
But
he's like
guess
literally
what?
one of the
After
it
that,
helps that he's literally one of the nicest people on the planet. But
He's
It
the
it was
nicest.
amazing to me to watch his journey because I was watching it because I unfortunately was getting my butt kicked by him pretty regularly back then, and I was watching his journey going like, "Wow, he just went from 10,000 to 20,000 followers."
To
And
100
now
and
he's and it was
yeah,
it like 109, I think, was when I looked yesterday or something like
yeah.
that? I mean, that's incredible, and to find out that he was doing it I didn't know that, by the way. I don't know the backstory between the 2 of you on that, is that he was doing it with this the front camera, Nolan. This is what is this, amateur hour? But to find out that he was doing that, I think it proves the point that you and I were talking about kinda in the green room prior to hitting record is unless you are out there, there is no chance. Unless you have a fishing line and a hook in the water, there is no chance of getting any sort of traction whatsoever. And it seems like, and tell me if I'm wrong, it seems like the biggest hindrance to getting really intentional about social media is just getting started. It's
And
just
staying
literally posting your
consistent.
first video. So talk to me about the consistency side of it. Because one of the questions I get a lot from people is how often should I be posting?
So,
What do you do with that?
consistency, but also I think quality. Like, I'm still the quality person. Like, if you do 7 posts, but only 2 of them are, like, nice, like, good quality, like, you put what I would say is high effort into a video. If it's low effort and you're putting 7 up, it's too much. Like, it's doing too much. If you're not doing any educational pieces, if you're not providing any value, I would do 3 high quality, high value posts. That's
Okay.
gonna get you
And you're
somewhere.
talking are you talking posts? Are you talking reels? Like how are we going to segment
I do reels.
what really accounts for social media activity?
So you can do a carousel. That's the other thing is once reels
You
started
don't
really
sound
coming.
thrilled about that when you say you can do a carousel.
Well, you can. So the other part of this was for video, that was part of Nolan's other thing was that's when Instagram really turned from photo to reel. And it was a big learning for me to like, you can edit so much on a photo or you can like add so much where like can't really do a ton on video. Like you can, but it's not as much. And so the quality of it, I think I would do 3 posts, like 3 reel. You can do like an informative carousel. I think static images are they aren't those are for your followers, which is good, but I don't think they have as much value in a post.
Okay,
I wouldn't
so
waste.
I wanna highlight that. Static posts are for the people that are already following you. And that's really it's informational, it's educational. It's hard to be entertaining with static posts unless I don't know, unless there's like some amazing punchline at the end. But you're saying when it comes to gaining followers and things like that, it's gotta be real focused?
Yeah.
What
Carousels
about
do bring in
stories?
followers too. I mean, I
And I
post a
can
lot of
imagine it might be do you differentiate? Because you don't work with just one style, and for the sake of
no,
anonymity, and we're not gonna mention anybody that you do work with. You got some brands, girl. There's some names that people know that
right?
they would hear and go like, "Holy smokes." But do you differentiate when you're working with different industries? So whether we're working with home services, for example, or we're working with a food brand. In my mind, 2 very different approaches. Or do you have kind of a framework and a foundation that you're building every single client off of?
So, yes and no. So, like, I have a framework I've been working on, and you've seen kind of the one, and then I've kind of been using pieces of that framework across everybody's. Like, long videos, if you're going to do anything over 30 seconds to a minute, you better have a lot of okay, we're going to go into content building. So like
Let's
your
get technical.
videos,
Let's go.
you like we have super short attention spans. We aren't
Fact.
going to like we want something to stop and then like we need to constantly be fed something fun, interesting, educational, something that's going to keep us there. So, all of the videos you make, like, that's how you have to look at how, if I'm making something for a home brand or my own food or doing Christmas, because I love Christmas, they're all going to have around the same framework. Like, you're not going to see videos that are over 45 seconds probably from me.
So that's one kind of guideline you give people.
Yeah.
Talk to me about hooks, because what drives me absolutely batshit crazy is another person that says like, "Hey, it's me again."
I agree. So we're going
So
to talk
what do
about
we do with
AI
that?
here. We're going to talk about AI.
Okay, talk to me
I
about
have
it.
been noticing a lot of these people go in. And here's the thing, Claude and chat have a purpose. I think some of us use it for things that we need our brains, like our actual brains to make content. So I actually was talking to a client about this the other day because there's so many people like they'll send me ideas and I'm like, did you guys chat GPT this? No. Like we're not gonna do this. They're the same type of hook, the same type of just they really aren't gonna catch you. So I don't use AI for my hooks, for my scripts, any of that. Like I will sit here, dissect how I want to see it come out. And I think that's honestly why we're seeing as much go viral is because it's using your human brain. Like you're using the creative side of it to really. So, yes, hooks. Like they should be more like they'll grab your attention. There's a lot of psychology that I would think goes into content. Like what stops you when you're scrolling? Is it something like, "Hey guys," like no, that's
Never.
done. Or stop scrolling, like that's another one, like that's phased out. But
Yeah.
people in content, they want to feel the connection. They want to feel that they can be related. They see themselves in your content. Like that's for any brand, any company. Like who are you speaking to and can you see them in your content? Because if you can't, then it's not going to work. It's not going to perform.
I think that's a good word. Being like, if you can't see these people in your content is not something that's for them, it's something that's for you. It's a missed opportunity. Talk to me about the idea of going viral. First of all, how do we define that? Because I've had people tell me like, dude, I had a video that went viral. I was like, really? And they're like, yeah, I got 5,000 views. How do you define viral? Like what's the cutoff? What's the metric for it?
So for me, for viral, it's really changed quite a bit. I would look at, I guess, how big the account is. Again, get it. But a smaller account that is getting a lot of traction, I would like to say, like, if they're hitting over 10,000 and they're under 3,000, that's good views, not viral. If they're hitting 20, 30, but also the big thing is reshares. Are they getting reshares? How's the comments? If you're not getting comments, but you have 30,000, 100,000 views, but no comments, I don't care. Like, that's cool that you're getting
Really? Why
views
not?
because I don't. So, there is a lot of bots. And so, if you're not
There's a
getting
ton of
engagement, that's actual legit engagement. You're not getting reshares, you're not getting likes. Like, I just saw a post today that had like 30,000 views and it was like 200 likes, no comments, and like an insane amount of reshares. To me, that's fake. That doesn't. So to me, viral is a lot different than most people. I want to see comments,
You
I
have
want to see
you have one
engagement,
account that I'm aware of that has
$3,000.
less than
Less than
10,000 followers for
2,500.
sure. I
But
guess it depends on which platform.
we went up 2,000 followers on Facebook. When I started this account less than a year ago, it wasn't even at 1,000 on Facebook, and over, we're about to hit almost 10,000.
Okay. And you recently had one video, I know for a fact, that went over 2.5 million.
Yeah, it's at 3.5 now.
That's
But
what I'm talking
the
about. That's
comments are
amazing.
insane. Like, that's obviously
But
very viral.
here's my question. So number 1, huge congratulations, because I think that's incredible accomplishment that needs to be celebrated. But my question is, because I've gone through and looked at this account because I was very curious about it when you first started talking about it. I'm seeing reels, 4,000 views, 4,000 views, 5,000 views, 6,000 views, over 1,000,000 views. Why the hell does that happen? And
So that
what
one
I mean, it at some like, if I as I look at this just as, like, an objective observer, I'm like, "Well, that seems like a fluke." Like, how did you that one got 4,000. There's another one on that same account that you reposted. You did it twice with a different overlaid caption, and they got different results, and it was the exact same video. Kenzie, what is the strategy there?
so I have really so the first one that well, actually, the 2 that are over 3,000,000 and almost 2,000,000, those were posted a month ago. Like, then we started posting this month, and I said, "I have a new idea. I'm gonna put it in play. I'm gonna move a little bit around, and let's dig down and see what I can do." And the big thing I really wanna stress is this client gives me full control. I am not micromanaged. I am not told what to do, what to say, how to post, when to post. I am given full control, and they're like, "Go for it. Do what you want," which is a big deal.
That's a really high trust relationship. That's a high trust relationship because when you relinquish control of the way your brand is represented, that there's a liability to it, you know? So that's pretty cool. I'm gonna assume by the way that you said that, you've run into situations where you're not given that kind of creative license.
Yes. And there's been clients who are like, "I want my stuff to look like this," but they are wanting almost a full overhaul of what I present to them. And I can
Gotcha.
tell you why I don't think certain things will perform the way I've said it kind of a little bit earlier. When I create content, I don't want it to come over sales. So like it's to be consumed for fun, and then you'll get them to come through for sales. You'll have your ads. Like I'm warm market. I am warming up for the ads. I am getting the traffic to the website. And
Your
so
audience
my
building
huh? I didn't hear
your
you.
audience building. It's a
Yeah,
digital audience. It's one of my favorite things in the world when we get a new account and they already have an audience. All that data is so useful. So yeah,
right.
absolutely.
And so like I that's a big thing to stress is I when you create content, don't have it come off as a sale because nobody wants to be sold. Nobody we're being sold all the time. There's ads everywhere. And so I like to make it where the person feels like they are. I could see myself with that new cup, or I could see myself going there on vacation. And so with ADHD, the brain is going somewhere else.
The last episode prior to this one was with an ADHD coach, but it hasn't been published yet. So I'll send it
Yeah.
over when it's ready.
Because now I'm like, oh, yeah, but
Yeah.
over here, we'll go back to that thought.
Well,
But
I wanna pause you anyway, and I'll probably derail your thought process here, but don't you want a call to action though? Like, isn't there gonna be something at the end of that reel that's like, click
depends.
here, send us a DM, something like that?
Sometimes I'll set up a mini chat and have a call to action on the bottom of the page or the bottom of the caption. It won't ever be in my reel. Brands will make me do a call to action. And if you put your logo in it or you have a hard sale at the end saying, go to this or comment this, I've noticed a huge drop in any sort of traffic. So
But that is taught that's literally taught in courses. Like,
Yeah, I know.
I've been to those seminars that's like, you know, comment life change now, and we'll send you the free PDF or whatever.
And those are good when you
You're
have an
saying that
ad.
that world is done. That world is gone.
If you are gonna put it up as an ad, 100%. If you want this to just live and
Gotcha.
you want this to be organic and this to reach an audience that you can engage with, I would not add a CTA.
Okay. Interesting, because obviously, as someone that specializes in, like, paid advertising, there's always
But
a
that's
CTA.
but you want a
There's
CTA. Like,
always one.
on my ad side, 100%. Like, I'll tell you right now, I have an ad that's been going since February, and it's a mini chat set. It has performed so good for this client where it's like, it's still performing and it's still getting the engagement. So yeah, on those, 100%.
A little bit
And if
different.
you
Okay.
have but the ones that perform really good and you're like, "I'm gonna convert this to an ad," then you can add a CTA in there. But having everything have a CTA,
Little too salesy for you. Okay, I wanna kind of go a little bit different direction here because I think there's two primary like audience segmentations here. One of them is personal branding, the other is business branding.
correct.
And it's really interesting to me because when you see these creators and you see these influencers and stuff like that, and you see them pushing brands or you see them being endorsed or whatever, you got tons of creators right now at the World Cup that you know for a fact are getting paid by FIFA, by the US national team, all that kind of stuff. There's so many of them that are out there. That's about building a following, right? Because you're not even going to be able to have a chance at a conversation with a brand unless you have a following. Whereas you're saying with a business, you don't care. You don't care how many followers they have. You care about the website traffic, you care about the conversions.
That'll all come in
I
good
assume
content.
it will.
Yeah.
I assume it will. But I'm very curious about that because as I approach Jake Zufelt differently than I approach Weldwood Marketing, which something that's interesting about Welded Marketing social media, if you've ever looked at it, very few engagements, very few all of these different things. I get tenfold the amount of business from personal branding that I do from our business branding. Not saying we couldn't, and it's probably a conversation you and I need to have someday, but it's entirely an SEO play for me. Entirely an SEO play. So when you look up anything Welded Marketing related, our Instagram, our LinkedIn, and stuff like that is one of the top results because of just sheer amount of activity. That's it. So we do a lot of custom graphic design for it, and then we post it, and I just let it go. I never pay attention to it, right? For the business owners that don't want that, and there are people that have reached out to me and said, "Our social media account doesn't look professional and it's not active. Can you help? Can you help me generate 90 days worth of content just so people show activity?" For those that want to do that, that's a very different conversation. But for those that actually want to get the traction, how do they get started? If they don't have the budget to hire Kenzie Womack, and they just need to get started and just get the reps in and things like that. Where do you encourage them to start so that they feel like they have some sort of confidence?
Pull out their phone and start recording. So, like, I'm big on
Is it that simple though? Like,
it
is it
is
that
that
simple?
simple. It is that simple. I think personal brand is
What do they
huge.
record? What are they supposed to do?
You have a microphone. This microphone, like, what do you like about it? Or, who is your target audience? They need to figure all that stuff out first.
For sure. Yeah, that's the
And so,
messaging consultation side of things for sure. Yeah.
but it is that easy as just doing it. Some people are posting 3, 4, 5 times a day because they want to hit this many views by the end of month. I had somebody comment that and that isn't how you do it. Like there's a lot of strategy that goes into my world. I don't just post, I don't just film something and throw a post up. There's a lot of strategy. Like, okay, if this person's goal is like one client wants to be more well known around, okay, I can do that. One more there's this person that wants product to be, or this person is more focused on getting people in the door, or this person, like, it really depends on what they wanna use their social media for. One wants to hire people. Okay, well, how are we gonna show what it's like? I actually was
Gotcha.
talking to someone about their social media, and the big thing is I'm trying to say how I can word this. The big thing is, like,
We're not gonna break any NDAs here.
I know, and it's really hard. The big thing with it is you need people, like I have said, to be in that spot. So it is that easy as pull your phone out. They just need to know how they want to show up.
So you're saying that I mean, it is as simple as start recording, but there's got to be some sort of written objective, written goal to it. So that if you're going like, I need more followers, you're going to approach that differently versus I need more employees, you're going to approach that differently or different things like that. One of the things that I do have a question about is I've had a number of times where it's an older business owner and they are in plumbing, right? They're something like that. They're in plumbing, they're in HVAC, they're in roofing, and they come to me and they go, "I need to be on social media." And I go, "Why?" And they go, "Because someone told me I need to be on social media." And I'm like, "All right, not a good enough reason. You got to be more clear with me." Also, I've talked to office administrators. I don't know if you've experienced this. Seems like office administrators get the social media accounts dumped on them by the owner and they're like, "Here, you're gonna manage social media now." And they are typically a woman ages 30 to 60. I'm generalizing here, but I'm in marketing, so I'm allowed to generalize. And they come to me or they come to you and they go, "I have no idea what I'm doing." And then I go look at their social media and they're posting every day and they're spending an hour a day on each post and they have 200 followers, most of whom are friends and family of the owner. In my opinion, I look at that and go, that is a massive waste of time and a massive waste of man hours. That you've got somebody in the office generating content and they're posting it. Is that still valuable? Because you're telling me it's as easy as just start recording and start doing this. Because now
So
I'm
there
seeing the outwork of that. I'm pushing back on you, Kenzie. I want you to
okay,
defend your
that's fine.
statement.
So I think every business should have social media. 100%.
To be clear, I 100% agree. Going back to the irreverent business hot take, I 100% agree. But keep going.
Don't look up ChatGPT. Like, don't do all of that stuff. But like that's where like they really need to sit down and say, okay, this is how I want to show up online. This is the goal. And then that's where like let me think. Okay, so say a shoe company came to me and was like, I need like we have nothing. We have no audience. What I would start with is, okay, who's your market for? Like, are you more of a barefoot shoe? Are you more of a high heel? Like, where do you because that's a big difference in audience.
Big difference. Yeah.
Then you figure your audience out. Then you're gonna, I mean, there's so much that goes into creating content. We can't even, it would take us days, but it would be find your target, sit down, and then really dive deep. Like you can even go watch what other people are doing in your industry and get ideas. Don't copy them. Please don't copy them. But get ideas and like pull from stuff, really dive deep into, okay, this is how I want it to show up. Now we're going to make sales. Like we want this to go for a mom and like, have find a few friends that can go put the shoe on and go get some content. Or that's a lot of work. Like if you're doing it by yourself, it's a lot of work. There's UGC creators that you can hire for that type of stuff.
Wait, time out. For those who don't know what UGC is, it means
User generated content.
thank you.
And so those are people that are going to be typically less than a influencer, somebody with a large audience. And then like, there's package deals, but if you really had no budget and you're like, I have to start a page today, it's really getting those reps in. There's a girl right now on social media who has started the Yap challenge, and it really is that easy. Pull your phone out and just talk. Talk about why you started it. Talk about the stories it's helped with. Talk about, there's everybody has results. Everybody and in whatever you're doing, like share it. Like it's so you just have to stay consistent because that's the biggest thing is I see people and they get excited and they're going to do it and then it's like 2 weeks and they're done. And it takes a long time. It's not an overnight thing. Like my pages that are seeing a lot of success right now online, it's been a year of really hitting the ground running. There's people that start social media and stuff, and you see them fly off. And if I went and looked into it, I could figure it out. But it really is as easy as just starting and having a
I think
strategy.
there's a lot to be said about that and having a strategy, right? One theme is just like it's you're not screaming it, but you are screaming it, and that's authenticity here. Is that I've heard you say multiple times, like, go look at what other people are doing, but don't copy. ChatGPT can only get you so far. You need to sit down and actually do this. Grab your phone and tell your own story. I I can't it's like just support that enough because we're seeing so much AI content. It's exhausting.
It is.
And as someone that's got some background in graphic design and different things like that, like my kids went to a festival recently and just pointed at every sign that they knew was made with AI. It was hilarious. Like I didn't even tell them to be like, that's AI, that's AI, that's AI. The thing about user generated content is there are now platforms and tools that will create AI user generated content, and they do a very good job. I have an ethical issue with that because not only is that not real, that is legitimately lying. Like that is not an actual user who is promoting your account. Like that to me goes beyond just the strategy thing. That's an ethical issue. You have a fake
Brands are shutting it
AI
down too.
generated person. Good, because it's like to me, that is just stuff that like that's just unacceptable in business. We just
I
shouldn't be
agree.
doing that, right? And I've made really funny AI stuff that I've sent to my friends of like fake news, stations doing something about whatever, like one of my friends getting arrested or something, whatever. Like there's really funny stuff you can do with it. I have a hard time with it when you're starting to mislead customers, right? So I want to just double and triple down on that one. But the other question I want to ask you, and we're hitting about the 40-minute mark, is about platform selection. And we probably should have brought this conversation up earlier. Is platform selection as important now as it used to be? Because I've heard this from a lot of people that are like, if you're more professional, be on LinkedIn. If you're more this, be on Instagram. If you're more this, be on TikTok. Or are you just taking the same piece of content and you're putting it on all the platforms and then you're watching the analytics and the engagement per platform? Or are you making content specific to each platform?
So that depends. I don't do anything with LinkedIn. That is one and X. I don't play in those. Things for Facebook, Instagram, they play very well together. Your content, cross posting, great. Facebook to TikTok, I do change it a little bit. Audio, sometimes a different hook, and
But
then
go back to the
over
audio thing. Are you tracking trending audios on each platform?
I am. And then on YouTube, I've posted on YouTube. It's a hard one for me. Like, I know people love YouTube so much. I don't spend my time on YouTube Shorts. I will do it for clients that want it posted. I don't feel like YouTube is as warm and as much of a target. Like, you get a lot of views over there. The
You get a
followers are
lot of
more,
views, you get a little engagement.
yeah. And like people, like it takes a lot longer to get a follower, but they last a lot longer. Meta, like Instagram, and that's another thing, is I look at my analytics obsessively, like all of it. I probably do it too much. But I want to see like, okay,
Go back to that though. What's the most are you looking at gender segmentation? Are you looking at age? Like what are the demographics or the analytics that you are most hyper focused on?
that stuff doesn't bother me. What I'm looking at is so like on stories, I'm looking at how many people went to my profile from a story. Typically, if they go to your profile after a story, they're going to unfollow you. So I'm looking at, okay,
Wait, say that again? If they go to your profile from a story, they're going to unfollow you?
if you have a profile visit, typically from stories, that's an unfollow. So, like, I have sat here and looked at my analytics where I see a story and then, I've had two profile visits and I've seen they don't. So, like, I like to look at that and see what stories resonate with people and which ones people don't love as much. So, going back to kind of stories from earlier, there's a lot of people that flood stories, like, flood them. Every hour, they have a story. That is one if you're trying to grow a business, like, brand, that's okay, I guess. I still wouldn't recommend it. But for a business, like, having 1 or 2 good stories, like, when they cycle out after 24, put a new one up, that's a
Mhm.
lot better. Or if it's reviews. I have one client that I make sure that they have their team constantly sharing stories, so I always have something within 24 hours to repost. But I am not a big fan of having a ton of stories. But I like to look at, when my people are engaging, what did when the viewer was there. I don't also agree with set posting times. Doesn't matter. Just don't
Okay,
post at
I was
night.
gonna ask you about that
Doesn't
because
matter.
any of the
Actually,
social media scheduling tools that I've used always recommend times. They're like, "You have more engagements at 4 PM." It's because people just got off of work. You're
and
saying it
the
doesn't matter.
no. But so a big thing I've really started doing is trial reels. If you have them, use them. Use them,
Okay.
please.
I have I don't use
You should. So that
okay.
is I
What I mean, explain to people that maybe don't have it or haven't heard of it. What is a trial reel and what's the purpose of it?
so that they say your followers won't see it, but that's not always true because I have a friend who always, I'm like, how did you see it? That's in trials. But trials is basically a reel that goes to non followers before you publish. So I like to do this as kind of an A B test. I more do like ABC test on it, and I will throw a different hook. I will change pieces around. I do a full trial, and that's how I've kind of put this framework I've been building in. And now, like, I don't really have to do it as much because I doing it with your brain, doing the reps in it, like, I've been able, like, I know how I'm gonna make that pop. I know how to make this one pop, move things around. But trials is a really good tool if you are starting, because then you can do all the different hooks, all the different clips, all the different versions, different audio. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of trial
Okay.
reels.
What's the qualifications for having trial reels available to you?
Well, it's Instagram. It is all up to them if you have them or not. Most people I think do now, but I mean, Nolan had them before I got him. I was way jealous. He gets everything before me.
Well, he does have 100,000 followers, so
I know.
alright, Kenzie, you keep talking about this framework you're developing, you keep talking about these
I know.
strategies you're developing. What is there going to be someday in the future a course, a training, consulting?
I don't
Are you
know.
headed that way?
I always say I'm not the best teacher. I'm a great doer, but like training people, like that's really hard for me because I've also done this for 15 years. Like I've created content, done social media for a very long time. So, like, I've had people be like, "Can you teach me?" And I'm like, "You don't even know how to post right now." Like, there's so much from the
There's
start
some
to like,
stuff that's intuitive. There's some stuff that's intuitive you just done for a long time.
yeah. And so, my best is I have the clients, I can help them. People can always ask me, but course, I also hate courses. I feel like so many people that do courses and there's a bad reputation. And that's another reason, like, that's
That is true.
even like social media
As
management.
someone who
Like,
is actively building a course can confirm, most courses are garbage. I'm creating an anti-course.
oh, there you go. That's
Is
great.
everything different in every course you've ever done because of exactly what you're saying. Courses have a really bad reputation, and they
They do.
should.
And
They've been
that's
done very
one,
poorly. Yep.
it's hard. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Right now,
Okay, we'll see what happens.
I
Well, until then, if somebody wants to work with you, specifically businesses, that's a lot of people who listen to the podcast or watch the podcast. How do they get a hold of you? What's the next best step for them?
probably reach out on Facebook or Instagram.
Shocker. Like, you might be
You
checking
could go
Facebook
to
or
my
Instagram.
website, but
Which website? What's the URL?
brands li
Brandsthatconnect.com.
but the best way, again, authentic I like to be very personal, so sending me a message, and that's typically the best. Yeah.
Kenzie, this was fantastic. There's so many just like nuggets in here that people need to pay attention to. Again, I want to highlight you're actually doing this. This isn't theory. This isn't whatever. This is you like, and I love how disciplined you are with the analytics. It's not something I hear a ton about when I talk to social media managers. They're typically like, I'll give you your content schedule. Let's talk about content pillars. And then you go look at the performance and there's none. So they checked the boxes, right? They submitted the deliverables, not seeing the stuff. You approach that so much more professionally, and that's one of the things that I appreciate about the work that you've been doing on this. And congratulations on the success you've had with this. I know this has been a very intentional like next step in your social media journey. Like as you mentioned, kind of circle back from the beginning of like you burned out, you didn't want to do it, you didn't want to be known as this. So you're taking a different approach. It's been really cool. So okay, any last parting words?
I don't think
Words of
so.
encouragement, words of warning for
Probably just
businesses,
get started,
things that
yeah. Warning would be make sure you check somebody very thoroughly, that they are walking the walk that they are talking. Because I've seen people, they're like, "I do social media management," and I'll go look at their website, and I'm like, "Ooh, like, if you don't have a good, like you don't have a good website, or if you don't like" I'm not saying they have to have a huge following, but I would want, like, they know what they're doing. Like, you look at their page and it's like, "Okay, they understand." That would be my word of
I think that's a
caution.
good I say it all the time when somebody's like, "Yeah, I got a quote from you and a quote from another web developer, and, we're trying to decide between the 2 of you," and I go look at their website, and I was like, I don't wanna throw 'em under the bus, but did you see their website?" Like,
I heard
that
that
seems
was
to
one
be a problem.
conversation I had, and they said, "Yeah, they're just too busy with their own clients to focus on themselves." And I said, "I totally get that, and I respect that, but I don't think that's
I
true."
Yeah, yeah, it's like contractors that they always have an undone project at their house because 'cause they're doing everybody else's. Someday you gotta take care of your own
Just a
house, so,
little bit.
okay. Kenzie, thank you so much for your time. I know you're super busy, so I appreciate you coming on the podcast, talking about this stuff, and, if you didn't catch it, find her on social media. It's not gonna be that hard. I
Shouldn't
guarantee
be.
you can find her, so, Kenzie, thanks again.
Thank you.